Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us on the first edition of MSF Recruitment Evenings. My name is Dr. Garma Kapoor, a career manager working with MSF South Asia office. Today, we will be joined by the MSF South Asia Human Resources team to discuss the work MSF does and how you can work with MSF. Now, for the audience who may not know what MSF is, MSF, Medicine Sans Frontiers, or Doctors Without Borders, is an international independent medical humanitarian organization providing care to populations in distress, victims of natural and man-made disasters, and victims of armed conflict, regardless of race, religion, or political beliefs. Since the last 50 years, we have been providing medical humanitarian care. And in the last 10 years, over 1,400 volunteers from South Asia, including doctors, surgeons, OBGYNs, HR and finance specialists, project coordinators, IPC specialists, mental health specialists, and other important profiles have worked with MSF for populations in need. Today, MSF works in more than 75 countries with 60,000 staff and have treated over 100 million patients. This evening, we would be diving deep into the context of our operations and getting an insight into the functioning and operations of MSF, and also understand the human resources. With us tonight, we have Usman Mirjat, the Deputy HR Director for MSF South Asia. He would be walking us through what MSF does, the context MSF works in, an overview of the operations and the interventions MSF conducts. And we also have Dr. Rhythm Chakrabarti. He is the Recruitment Unit Manager of MSF South Asia. He will be giving us an overview of the human resources of MSF, the staff that works with MSF, and the recruitment model. Please put your questions in the chat box and they will be addressed at the end of the session. Welcome, Usman. So could you give our audience an insight on what does MSF do?
Thank you so much, Garima. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. It's my privilege to join this preliminary session today. Yes, so today we are a movement of more than 60,000 medical, non-medical professionals working in more than 75 countries in about 480 projects. Over 52,000 of our staff are locally hired in the field. They work alongside with the international staff. So just to give you an idea of how our staff categories are, we normally categorize our staff or human resource in 3 main categories. So we have locally recruited staff. Sometimes they are also referred as national staff. We have internationally mobile staff. They are also referred in a lot of contexts and a lot of organizations as experts. We also have a third category like the office or the HQ staff. And to give a bit of idea of the head counts, so or the percentages rather, the locally recruited staff, as I mentioned in terms of number, they are more than 78%. 11% are our internationally mobile staff, and about another 11% is the HQ staff. Also, in terms of diversity, in terms of nations, we are in the movement, we have 162 nationalities which are contributing to this global movement. We have, in terms of gender, we have 37% female and 63% male. If I give you the insight of the job families that we recruit, and Rhythm Chakrabarti, our recruitment unit head, will also give the more insight. 45% of our staff are medical and paramedical. 40% is the logistic and finance. 12% is the HR and finance, and 3% are the operations. Each year, in each project or intervention, it is actually based on the needs of that region, and the scale of the intervention depends on the context of the region.
So when you say context of the region, could you please elaborate that further?
Sure. As I gave you a bit of the classification of our staff, we also normally categorize or classify our interventions into 4 categories. So we have interventions in the stable context. For example, we have programs like HIV, TB, we have Kala-Azar, malnutrition. We consider them as the stable context interventions. We might have active conflict in the countries whereby it is affected by the active conflict. We have mental health, war surgery, primary healthcare, distribution of NFIs. We also work in the post-conflict affected areas, whereby we work on the child and maternal health, mental health, primary health care, and the 4th category is internal stability, whereby we, depending on the need again, but we have the projects for the primary health, we have mental health, etc. There are many perceptions concerning MSF. Most of our people perceive us as an organization working in emergencies only. However, it may come across as a surprise that 46 of our 46% of our projects are in the stable context, followed by 31% in the armed conflict, and 20% and 3% by the post and internal stability, respectively.
That is very interesting to know. Thank you. So could you tell us the regions that MSF has projects in?
Sure. So we are working in around 75 plus countries, as I mentioned in the first of my answer. To give you an overview and to give the audience an overview, these projects are in Africa. 55% of them are in Africa, followed by the Middle East, which is 17%. We have also the projects in Asian Pacific, which is 13%, Americas 9%, and rest is 6%.
Interesting. So in all of this, how does MSF South Asia contribute to this global movement?
Yeah. So we have an interesting setup, like any major organization, especially in the humanitarian world. We have, so our MSF South Asia is one of the 38 offices globally and contributes in various organization verticals. Say communication, strategic planning from the region for the global movement. The purpose of this webinar, as you know, that is a focus on the our contribution for the in terms of human resources and meeting the HR needs in the field. We are one of the major contributors when it comes to the HR needs to run our operations. As a medical organization, mostly when people see or hear our name as Médecins Sans Frontières or Doctors Without Borders, it is perceived that we only work with the medical or paramedical profiles or professionals. However, in reality, we not only recruit medical or paramedical staff, but our major chunk, in fact, is non-medical professionals. And in order to help run the medical programs, our section is mandated to recruit from 14 countries in the region. And the countries that we are mandated to recruit from are Afghanistan, Armenia, Bangladesh, Bhutan, Iran, India, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Nepal, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan. And each year, we send various professionals around the world to support our needs on the ground. I believe when Rhythm talks about the recruitment section, he will give more insight into the profiles that we recruit and the other information in detail. Just to give a bit of the context to our audience in terms of numbers, in the last decade, you also mentioned it. Our section has sent around 14 to 1500 various medical and non-medical profiles to support the humanitarian needs in the field.
Thank you so much, Ismail, for enlightening us. It was extremely insightful.
It's a pleasure.
Again, if you have any questions, please add them into the chat box and we will get to you at the end of the session. So Rhythm, now we get to the recruitment. So now before we get into the recruitment model of MSF, could you help our audience understand the profiles that MSF generally recruits?
Thanks, Garima, and greetings to everyone who have joined this session. So in terms of the profile that MSF recruits are the medical profiles, the paramedical profiles, the non-medical profiles. And all of these people bring the professional abilities, the practical experience, as well as the commitment to and the concern for the people they help. Also, most of our projects are staffed by host country colleagues with minimal international staff presence. Now, in terms of medical, paramedical, and non-medical profiles, which we are recruiting currently, if I have to break it down, for the medical functions, it's the anesthesiologist, the epidemiologist, the health promoters, the lab scientists, the medical doctors, the hospital managers, and the mental health specialists, the midwife, the nurses, the gynecologist, operation theater nurses, pediatrician, pharmacists, surgeons, and also doctors with specialized experience in HIV and TB. Now, in terms of the non-medical functions, which we are currently recruiting, those are the construction specialists, the field and administration professionals, financial coordinators, human resource coordinators, logisticians, project coordinators, supply logisticians, technical logisticians, water and sanitation specialists, biomed manager, electricity manager, fleet manager, and last but not the least, humanitarian affairs officer. I would like to add that the detailed criteria of all these profiles, which I have mentioned, can be found on our website. So please do visit our website and go through the detailed criteria. Also, I would like to add is that we only accept applications from people who meet our strict recruitment criteria, and the application must be made online by visiting our website. Now, in terms of shortlisting, our shortlisting is based on, like, applicants has to meet our selection criteria, and applicants with the specific skills needed in our projects at the time. The specific skills need can change quickly depending on the projects that we are working in. These needs and our projects can change quickly. So this is something very important to keep in mind. Briefly, what I can say, the essential criteria for working in the field are at least 2 years of professional experience in relevant fields, current professional credentials, relevant work experience in resource limited or low resource limited setting or humanitarian setting, and availability for at least 9 months, with the exceptions of surgeons, anesthesiologists, and gynecologists, who may be accepted for a shorter duration for 6 weeks or more. Also, I would like to share the assets that benefit applicants are the flexibility, adaptability to basic living conditions, and the foreign language skills.
Thank you. So now that we know the people and the profiles that can apply, could you tell us moving forward, what is MSF's recruitment process?
If we talk about the MSF recruitment process, it is same for all the international profiles that we recruit, be it the medical profiles, be it the paramedical profiles, and the non-medical profiles. Our recruitment model slightly differs than what is usually seen in a recruitment strategy. First of all, we don't recruit against vacancies. We recruit according to the profiles given the MSF context we have seen and are upcoming. The process is a little bit more introspective in nature and does require commitment from the applicant. The applicant completes an online application by visiting our website. Thereafter, the recruitment unit screens the application and responds if the candidate is shortlisted. Positively screened applicants are invited for a virtual interview with a recruitment officer. Afterwards, we carry out the technical validation with our technical referent. Now, you may wonder, what does this validation mean? Just to put it in a simple way, profiles come with a skill set list that a candidate has to fill out, which is then checked by the MSF technical referent, who gives the go-ahead on the profile for the next stage of the recruitment. Now, this validation is often done from a technical lens of, can this person perform the task set out for a particular profile to suit the requirement of a MSF project? That is why one may have 10 years of experience, career experience, I would rather say, but still may not be validated. Or you may have been working on the ground for a few years and you were given a go-ahead. Now, following this positive technical validation from technical reference, we carry out our second phase of virtual interview, which is the assessment center. Now, technical validation means approval of your skill sets by our technical reference based in our headquarters. Now, when we talk about the assessment center, it comprises of two sets of exercises, which is the competency-based interview and intro. Now, in terms of competency-based interview, queries related to competencies are asked. And for intro exercise, scenarios based on our project situation are displayed and the candidates respond accordingly. Now, following a positive assessment center and technical validation, we conduct the reference checks and the background check. After successful applicants are accepted into the pool of active field staff. I would also like to add here that the placement on a field assignment is entirely dependent on field needs and can take several months from the point of acceptance into the active pool.
Thank you. So when you say active pool, what does it mean to be a part of the MSF South Asia pool?
When I say active pool, the pool is like our database of staff volunteers who are willing to work with MSF and have cleared all the rounds of recruitment. Again, I would like to underline that being active in the pool does not mean somebody immediately getting matched for a mission. You get assigned to career managers who are a part of the South Asia Human Resource team who help find appropriate missions or assignments for you and then guide you through the process to apply for them. We will be covering this in more detail in the subsequent session.
Understood. So our staff are volunteers, which makes some people think that working with MSF is more like volunteering rather than a career. Would you like to comment on that?
As we all know, volunteering is a way of giving back to our community while developing important social skills. It is also a selfless act and sacrifice, but when you start doing it, you usually discover the benefits outweighs all things you are giving up yourself. While we as MSF offer our project roles as fixed term contracts based on the period you are needed in the project, MSF does offer many career opportunities. If you continue to work with MSF for multiple projects, something we value highly, you will get the opportunity to grow into roles with broader responsibilities. These could be the roles responsible for larger team or multiple project sites. You might manage complex activities and specialized programs, or you could progress to managerial responsibilities for all activities in a country as a part of the country management team. I would say that people that stay with MSF for longer periods may get the opportunity to take up managerial or advisory position in our operational offices. Now, these offices are in places like Amsterdam, Barcelona, Brussels, Geneva, and Paris. Or a role suitable to you may open up in one of our 38 partner offices around the world. If you would like to read real-life examples of MSFers and their careers, please feel free to look at our blog, which has many stories from life with MSFers. Now, just to sum up, MSF package reflects the humanitarian spirit of volunteerism as well as recognizing the high level of professionals we recruit. Now, what does it entail? It entails the round trip economy air travel, the accommodation and the transportation during your contract, monthly indemnity that is based on your experience and MSF salary structure, field per diem, and insurance covering the health, luggage, professional liability, repatriation, accidents, and flights. Last but not the least, we also take care of your health. So we also support in pre and post mission health checks.
Good to know. So one of the most common questions we get is, can we work in the country of our domicile?
Absolutely, yes. You can work in the country of your domicile. It also depends upon the presence of MSF in the country and working opportunities that are available. Even though I would say that our discussion today is mostly on MSF in general and the international recruitment process, criteria, etc. As I have mentioned earlier, that our projects are mostly staffed by host country colleagues with minimal international presence. A workforce coming from the host country forms an integral part of our operations worldwide.
And what is the duration of a mission? And can people do multiple assignments or multiple missions?
Well, all new recruits must make a commitment of 6 to 12 months. The exception to these are profiles like surgeons, anesthesiologists, gynecologists, due to the intensity of their work and the projects where they are placed. We ask for a minimum period of 3 months availability. And yes, people can do multiple assignment missions with MSF.
So another very common question we get is, can we decide to go on a mission of our choosing? And can we bring our families along with us?
A good question. It's not possible to honor specific country request. We recruit applicants into a pool before matching them to a specific position based on their skills, experience, and background. We expect candidates to be flexible about where they work so that we can meet the needs of our projects. However, I would say that the candidate's special skills, language, and restrictions will be taken into consideration in each placement. All assignments for field staff are unaccompanied. Assignment locations do not allow for friends or family members to visit volunteers. Now, accompanied assignments may be offered to experienced MSF staff depending on the field needs, I would say. I would also like to add something for couples looking to work with MSF together in the same project. It is very rare to find 2 open positions for first mission volunteers in the same project at the same time. Couples may, however, the couples may apply at the same time, but they should realize that if both are selected, they will probably be working in different contexts or different countries.
Thank you so much, Rhythm, for that amazing understanding of the recruitment process. And now, before we get into audience questions, which please feel free to put in the chat, could you both walk us through your career with MSF and share your experience? Usman, would you like to go first, please?
Sure, Garima. So my in 2010, when there was a flood emergency in Pakistan, I just got to know from a friend that there's an organization looking for some people. We didn't know what the positions were and what the opportunities are. It was because it was an emergency. We when the made ourselves available, did the interviews and all, and got to offer a very basic position because we didn't have any prior experience in that very field, but it was very basic position. And I would say that from that time, I realized that this is the organization that I might want to stick with. And so, but the project closed. I worked with another organization for 4 to 5 years and diversified my experience in logistics. finance, and bit of security and operational support. And then came back to MSF in 2015. I did my first intervention in Ethiopia as a log admin, followed by another one in Turkey, Syria, and then did few others in South Sudan, and my last one was in Nigeria as a HR coordinator. And yeah, I'm still with MSF today, and I think I don't want to leave this organization.
That's very good to know for us, for sure. Thank you so much, Usman, for sharing your story. Rhythm, would you like to let us know about your career?
Thanks, Garima. It might sound a bit philosophical because I think it's my 16th year working with MSF. Besides the practical consideration, there are many intangible benefits which I experience working with MSF. It can be challenging working with MSF, but rewarding in terms of personal and professional experience, which allowed me to help people in a very real way. I also received encouragement from MSF to continue for the organization beyond my first mission, and was offered, I would say, various career opportunities, allowing me to gain more of varied MSF field experience, made me eligible for various field positions, be it the coordination position in the projects or in the mission. I worked in the capacity of medical doctor, project medical lead, project coordinator, medical coordinator. Apart from that, I also got the opportunity to work at headquarter level, allowing me to diversify and learn new skills and knowledge, I would say. Overall, I would say it has been a wonderful journey for me with MSF, and I hope to continue as long as possible.
Thank you so much, Rhythm, for sharing your story. Wow, it makes me want to join MSF all over again. So now we're going to get to audience questions. But before we do, I just wanted to say the links and the websites and the blogs that have been mentioned today, the details of them will be in the description in the link. So please do check out the websites, and we'll keep on repeating that. Okay, so we have our first question, and for the ease of it, recruitment questions, Rhythm, I'm going to ask you, and non-recruitment questions, I'll just go with you, Usman. Okay, so our first question, Rhythm, is that if we don't get a response from MSF after applying, what to do?
Thank you. It's a very good question because we often receive these queries. If you don't get a response, let's say, but from our side, we have also tried our best to have the automated response. And also the recruiters also try to reach out to the candidates, the applicants. Yeah, if you don't get a response, there are contact emails written on our websites in the frequently asked question part. So you can always write back to us on that.
Okay, great to know. And again, the website link will be in our description, so please do check that out. Does MSF offer remote career opportunities if a person is, let's say, based in Singapore? Rhythm, would you like to take that?
In terms of remote career opportunities, there are possibilities, however, these possibilities are mostly displayed as vacancies. That those are open at headquarter levels. So I would suggest that that these kind of vacancies are usually displayed on various MSF websites. So please keep looking for that.
Thank you. Usman, are development professionals for program and operations needed or recruited by MSF?
Sorry, come again?
Sorry, are development professionals for program or operations needed or recruited by MSF?
Yeah, it depends on the specific profile because our needs are coming from the field, and we do recruitment against the specific profiles based on the needs coming from the field. So there are at times some positions that we especially recruit for, and I mean, there are like opportunity, like project coordinators that we have, and people might be coming from the development background. There are, you know, other various opportunities that we might see from the field, and then we for those kind of things, if the needs are very niche, we do have some on post or the special recruitment drive for that. And as Rhythm has mentioned, we do have like everything mentioned on the blogs or on our website.
Thank you so much. Rhythm, this person has written in, hello, I am a consultant nephrologist in Nepal. Is there any role of a specialist like me in MSF? How can I get involved with MSF?
Thank you very much for this question. Usually for nephrologists, there are roles, but these are not the regular roles or the vacancies that the field requests for. Usually during a crisis, let's say emergency crisis, or during a natural disasters like earthquake, etc., we do look out for profiles like nephrologists. Yes.
Got it. Rhythm, we have a lot of recruitment questions coming up, so I think you stay unmuted. So yeah, the next question is, I am an MBBS and would like to work with MSF in a disaster emergency medicine project. What would MSF consider as desirable qualifications in emergency medicine? For instance, the MRCEM?
For emergency medicine, that qualification will be considered. However, after postmaster experience, like working independently for at least 2 years, will be extremely crucial. So yes, for emergency medicine, the masters will be considered, plus the relevant clinical experience.
I just like to understand another thing added to it. To work in an emergency or disaster project, do you necessarily have to be an emergency medicine doctor, or do other profiles also can go to these projects?
Other profiles can also go to this project. However, with the current trend, what we are also observing, that requests are coming for more specialized profiles like emergency medicine specialist.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. The next question is, I am a maxillofacial surgeon. What can be the role of this specialty?
In terms of maxillofacial surgeons, we do have projects or programs where we do recruitment for maxillofacial surgeons. Like in Nigeria, we have a project on NOMA. It's like a facial disfiguration bacterial disease. However, in terms of the demand and the needs, it's not much, I would say. It's not much, I would say, at the current moment. However, we do recruitment for the maxillofacial surgeons, but not in a frequent manner. I think Usman would like to add something. I saw he raised his hand.
Yeah, since I'm coming from Nigeria, I think I can add a bit more context to that. So in a year, there are only 3 interventions, the normal surgical interventions. And for that, we already have identified, validated the surgeons on the list. However, if somebody is with this specific profile and interested to work in that context, as Rhythm has mentioned, follow the processes, and that we will make sure that we treat that as an application, and we'll get back to that person. But yeah, I mean, the needs are very limited and very niche.
Thank you both, and thank you for the on-ground reality as well. Rhythm, how long will it take for a recruitment process from the time of application?
This is a very common question. Usually the recruitment process on average can take from 2 months to 4 months, I would say. Now, people might think that this is considerably a very long process. Yes, it might sound, or it might we might see that it's a long process. The reason is because there are certain elements during the recruitment stages where we have to get in touch also with other stakeholders with whom we don't have a say on the time factor. Yeah, be it the background check, be it the reference check, or sometimes even the technical validation. It might take some time. So I would say that on average, the whole recruitment process, I would put it like 2 to 4 months, across 2 to 4 months.
Around 2 to 4 months. Thank you. So any opportunities for technical profiles like web professionals required on the field?
The demand is very, very less at this moment. However, there might be some opportunities that come up mostly for the headquarter kind of positions. So again, I would suggest that keep looking at our websites, MSF website, I would say, where these specialized profiles vacancies are displayed.
Thank you. There's a question about where can people check the criteria, as there are many websites where the criteria are different. I'll just say that since we've discussed this, that the MSF South Asia, which is where we are recruiting from, has its own website, and the link is in the description. So each profile that Rhythm and Usman have discussed today, the details on those profiles are given there. So I'm going to go to the next question. Usman, if one applies for assignments direct through another site of MSF branches for any international position, then will it be mandatory to go through the India office for selection?
Yeah, as I mentioned in my introductory, the introductory session, the MSF South Asia is one of the 38 offices. And in the MSF movement, every regional office, it is mandated to recruit from certain regions, and I've mentioned the countries. So if our fellows are from those 14 countries, even if they apply to any website, they will be redirected to our website and to our team. So if you are from one of the 14 countries, simply I would really recommend to follow the processes enlisted on our website.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Someone's written in that, hi, I'm an MBBS doctor from Nepal. How can I search jobs with my qualifications in MSF? Rhythm, would you like to take this?
Again, as I mentioned during my part of the session, in MSF doesn't recruit for a specific vacancy. We recruit for the pool of profiles. Yeah. So in terms of looking for a job with MSF, if there is a program of MSF running in your country, probably you might check with them, or you might have a look into the local job portals, I would say. That is what I can suggest. But again, however, I would repeat that we don't recruit against a vacancy. We recruit for the pool of profiles, and the criteria to be in the recruitment process are all mentioned in our on our website. Join with us section, frequently asked questions. So please go through those.
Thank you. If someone has applied 3 to 4 times in different positions, but hasn't been shortlisted for any position, what can be the reason behind it? And how can we approach HR according to it? Either of you can answer this one.
Usman, would you like to take it?
Sure. So if somebody has applied for multiple positions, I'm not sure if the person has applied in multiple positions, like different positions or in the similar categories, but I would like to touch base on the both scenarios. So if you already recognize yourself in the profile requirement, and then we normally what we do, we make sure that every candidate which is meeting the criteria is shortlisted and gone through the process. However, if the criteria is not met or maybe not understood, and hence a the candidate applies, then it is not possible to shortlist that. And if you have any question, I mean, as Rhythm has already mentioned, there are actually contacts available in the FAQs on our website. So feel free to go and ask the questions if you have any specific questions. And I would also say if somebody has, if there are specific cases, somebody has applied, did not get a response, or somebody, is trying to reach or something, please visit the website, go to the specific contact details and reach out to us, because it is not possible to discuss every single case if there are other cases in this webinar.
Oh, thank you so much. Rhythm, can you apply to a South Asia region even if you're not from the countries listed? Or do each nationality apply for a specific region? And the second question is, are there specific roles for radiologists?
The first question is that if somebody outside the 14 countries, which we have discussed or which has been displayed on our website, applies to us, we will share that profile to the nearest recruiting office of the candidate. Yeah, but of course they can always apply. However, it will be channeled to the nearest MSF recruiting offices to the domicile of the candidate. And the second question, can you please repeat that?
Yes. Are there any specific roles for radiologists?
In terms of radiologists, yes, we do need radiologists, but the request from the field is not that frequent. However, radiologist plays a very important role in our telemedicine setup. So I would say, or I would encourage radiologists to apply with us. But in terms of deployment to the field, at this moment, they are mostly getting absorbed into our remote telemedicine setup as a consultant.
Understood. Thank you. Usman, what are the specific skill sets for a supply logistician, and how can I nurture myself for this position?
Yeah, so the specific requirements for the supply registration is also mentioned on the website. So for the details, I would encourage all the participants to go and see the details in the on the website. And if there are any specific questions concerning the specific profile, we are available to answer the specific queries.
Understood. Thank you. Rhythm, what is the eligibility criteria for an MBBS doctor to work with MSF? And would you please let us know about what are the barriers to deploy staff in fields in time?
In terms of the recruitment criteria, we have clearly mentioned on our website. So again, like what Usman has repeated and even Garima has also mentioned, please do visit our websites and visit the specific profiles and have a look into the criteria. But the relevant clinical experience and some other soft skills are the core for the recruitment process. But again, it's all mentioned on our website. So please do visit the website. Now, the second question was,
what are the barriers that may stop a staff from being deployed on field in time?
There are several barriers. It can be administrative barriers. It can be security barriers. It can be, I would say, health-wise, the age, etc., etc. So there are multiple barriers that might, I would say, not prevent, but might delay the deployment process, or rather, I would say, may change in the location of deployment. I will also pass it on to Usman to add a couple of other points.
Thank you so much, Rhythm. I think it's very interesting question. I feel that it is really, really important for us to address this, with more details to also help our fellows to understand the context. Because at times, what happens is we we might be slowing down the recruitment on some profiles, because maybe there is a travel restriction like COVID. When COVID happened, it really hit hard on all the industries, but specifically the travel. So it was really challenging for us to deploy. There are other things like the visa situations. There are certain countries where the visa might not be possible for certain nationalities. So that is also, the thing that Rhythm has mentioned as administrative barriers. So all those kind of things can prevent us from the deploying, and this can also delay from the time of recruitment, somebody is in the active pool, till somebody is deployed. So all those kind of aspect has to be kept in the mind before somebody makes the mind. And this is also just to manage the expectations.
Very important to know. Thank you so much. The next question is, I'm a clinical psychologist currently working in a donation-based institution. How can I apply? Could psychologists work in MSF? And what is the criteria for a clinical psychologist? I'll just quickly take this because, as we've discussed, please do go to our website for MSF South Asia. You can apply for, we have all the information there on what the criteria is. And yes, psychologists do have roles in MSF. So please do check out the criteria you need to have. And just the website's in our description. The next question is there any position for social work background, as our participant has written that they've done their post-graduation in social work?
Yes, there are profiles where we recruit with this specialization. If you can go to our website and try to check the health promoter profile, you might find out something for you, I would say.
Perfect. Usman, we have a question and also a compliment, and thank you for the wonderful session. I have a background in HR and the philanthropic social sector in India. What are the specific skills required for the HR roles, and any tips for applying?
Yeah, so we have different roles within HR. We have roles within the, as a host country, or, the locally recruited staff. But when it comes to the international, there are certain qualifications and specialties that, we look for. Mainly for the HR, we have like the verticals, like administration. Administration can be a vertical, can also be like a part of a role of the HR. There are specific roles on learning and development. So if somebody has an experience in learning and development, recruitment, somebody has experience in the recruitment, managing the HRIS, that is also something that is very useful to have. And also having the other skills, like having the skills in Excel or other softwares. This is also something that is very useful for not only for HR but also for the other profiles. And if somebody has the HR and finance experience, it's a combo that is really looked for, because at times we might not have HR only or finance only positions. If there's a combo, that is also sometimes preferred. So if somebody has an HR only experience and want to diversify in the finance, and then apply for the FinHR profiles that are also listed on the website.
Oh, good to know. Thank you. Rhythm, we have a question saying that is fluent English compulsory for MSF career opportunities?
I would rather say yes, because that is the working language in our English-speaking context. However, we also appreciate a lot if candidate comes with other language experiences like French, Arabic, and even Spanish. So yeah, language skills is something that is very important, and in case of a need, even during the recruitment process, we also go through the language tests.
Again, great to know. As a recruitment question again, that I am an internal medicine specialist in Afghanistan. I also have work experience in TB. Is there any job opportunities?
Again, as I said, if you see the profiles that we have mentioned on our website, specific to the medical functions, we do have profiles with your expertise or your experience that we do recruitment for. So I would suggest that please do visit the website.
It's a very pretty website, by the way, so please do come. We have a question of how does MSF ensure the safety of the staff as some projects are in the difficult context? Usman, would you like to take this?
Sure. Well, safety and security is never guaranteed. This is something that we all know. You can be in the wrong place and or wrong time, and something can happen. However, there are some practical measures that MSF takes as a responsible employer, as a duty of care, knowing that we are working most of the time, or pretty much in the areas where the security might not be stable. So for those ones, before we even start the intervention, we do like an assessment, starting from the actor mapping, resources available, also all the support mechanism available there, to ensure that when we deploy our team, the team is as safe as possible. And also, not only that, the assessment doesn't suffice. We also have the practical measures in place, the procedures that we ensure. Some equipment we might have provided in different contexts, like the communication equipment. Also make sure our vehicles, our transportation system is good as to suit the specific context. So there are different ways to ensure the safety of the staff in the field.
Thank you. That's always important to know. I see that we have more questions, but unfortunately we've run out of time. If we haven't been able to answer any of your questions, we will try to get them in the answer in the chat box, or you can connect to us with the HR team by emailing us. As usual, details are on our website. Thank you, Rhythm and Usman, for just sharing your stories and telling us about the details of the process. Again, this is the first edition of our recruitment evenings. We have many more to come. So to everyone who gave up their evening and joined us, thank you so much. We appreciate the questions. We appreciate your interest. And we look forward to seeing you soon in the next one. Have a lovely evening.
Thank you, everyone. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.